The senator from Nebraska.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise today because in 1869, 150 years ago, the Nebraska legislature unanimously passed and our governor signed legislation that established the University of Nebraska. The Morrill Land Grant Colleges Act, signed into law by President Abraham Lincoln in 1862, provided Nebraska with land to establish colleges focused on agriculture and the mechanical arts. The university opened its doors in our state capital, Lincoln, where we honor President Lincoln's namesake. Since then, the University of Nebraska-Lincoln has grown to an enrollment of over 25,000 students, providing over 5,000 new graduates to the workforce each year and over $2 billion in annual economic impact for Nebraska across our 93 counties. The university holds a special place in my heart. I am a graduate of the university. Staying true to its roots, UNL remains a national leader in water, agriculture, and rural development research, helping to transform our state, which was once called the Great American Desert, into one of the greatest agricultural exporting regions in the world. On top of equipping Nebraskans with the skills to feed the world, the university has emerged as a leading institution for early childhood education and national security and defense research. The university sports teams unite our Nebraska communities, and they fuel our pride in our great state. Whether it's to cheer on our 5-time national championship winning football team at Memorial Stadium, or at the Devaney Center to support one of our state's treasures, the 5-time national champion women's volleyball team, Lincoln is filled with a sea of Husker red on game days. What's more, the University of Nebraska-Lincoln leads the nation with 333 academic All-Americans across our Cornhusker sports teams. The university is also important to the culture of our state, showcasing some of the best of the good life. Attractions such as the State Museum, which is the largest natural history museum in Nebraska, or the Larson Tractor Test and Power Museum, or the East Campus Dairy Store, known across our state for its wonderful cheese and, of course, ice cream. The university, like our state, has grown and accomplished much over the last century and a half. And that's why my colleague from Nebraska and I have introduced a Senate resolution recognizing UNL's 150th anniversary on February 15th of 1869. This is a formal way for this body to extend our congratulations to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln on this special milestone in its history. I urge my colleagues to support the passage of the resolution because, as my colleague and I know so well, there is no place like Nebraska. Here's to the next 150 years and beyond for the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Madam President, I would yield time to my colleague from Nebraska so that he may make remarks on this resolution as well.
Without objection. The senator from Nebraska.
Madam President, thank you. And to my senior senator, thank you for your leadership in drawing attention to this 150th anniversary of the University of Nebraska. Senator Fischer is a tireless champion of our state and of this special university, her alma mater. I am sad to admit in public that I am not a graduate of the University of Nebraska, but I have lied about my age for many, many years to be able to vend and sell concessions at Husker sporting events before I was old enough to do it so that I could be deeply affiliated with this institution, even though I didn't graduate from there. So I'd like to salute my senior senator in her leadership in drawing attention to this. I want to tell stories about Coach Osborne, who was my boyhood hero, about crying as a 12-year-old after the January 2nd, 1984 national championship game in Miami, about Scott Frost and how he's going to soon lead us back to the promised land. But I've already been warned by the presiding officer that the Senate has some informal, unwritten rules that actually prohibit football evangelism on the floor. So I will move along to celebrating with my senior senator our volleyball national championships, our bowling national championships, and the fact that Nebraska was once known as the Great American Desert, and we are now the most trade-dependent, export-dependent state per capita in the union, precisely because we live on the Great Ogallala Aquifer, the most productive land anywhere on the earth and at any point in the history of the earth. We grow so much more food than we could ever conceivably consume, that we feed the world from Nebraska, and a huge part of that is because of the ag extension programs of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. There are a lot of great Americans and great patriots that serve at the University of Nebraska on the faculty, in the administration, and donors and alumni and our current students. And the 150th anniversary is a great moment for our state. All 50 states have colleges and universities that they're proud of, but there is no state that is more identified with its university than Nebraska. And I'd like to join my senior senator and applaud her for her leadership in bringing this resolution today.
Madam President, I would like to thank my colleague from Nebraska for his words in recognizing the importance of the University of Nebraska to our state as an economic engine of the state, as an institution that draws on the strengths of the state of Nebraska, especially looking at Innovation Campus at the University in Lincoln, where there's a focus on water and on food, because we are blessed in Nebraska with that water resource, and we do feed the world. Madam President, as if in legislative session, I ask unanimous consent, the Senate proceed to the consideration of S-Res 82 submitted earlier today.
The clerk will report.
S-Res 82, recognizing the 150th anniversary of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
Madam President, I ask
Is there objection to proceeding to the measure? Without objection.
Madam President, I would ask unanimous consent the resolution be agreed to, the preamble be agreed to, and that the motions to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. I would yield the floor.